All right, let's see here. If you're ready, let's get back to the phone lines.
I believe I am.
Open 896-0713 or 1-800-349-0713. We're going to go to George in Waveland. George, good evening. What can we help you with?
Hey, George.
Hey, how you doing there, man?
Good evening.
I'm going through a custody case. I have a 15-year-old daughter, and she lives with her mama. Her mama took her out of school. She don't go to school or nothing like that. And she has a boyfriend, which is a registered offender. And I go to the courts because my daughter's trying to get out of the situation. I go to the courts and I try to file a get temporary custody and a restraining order. And I pulled the guy's records and I sent it all up to the judge. And I got denied of everything. They denied me. But when they deny me, they give me a court date for 2 weeks later. Okay. So I go to the court date. I had paid a lawyer, go to the court date. And when I get in there, the judge says, well, I can't overrule the judge that denied it. She said, I can't overrule her judgment. I don't understand. Well, why I should have been in front of that judge then if another judge couldn't overrule it.
I see.
It was like a waste of time and money.
George, I can feel your frustration all the way here in Biloxi, and you're in Waveland. I can feel it coming through the phone lines. When it comes to custody, stuff like that, Matt, you did so many of these when you were a city attorney and dealing with family issues. What can you tell George tonight?
Well, George, listen, it is frustrating. It's a tough process, no question about it, and I understand that. I've heard what you said, but I am a little surprised, a little confused as well. About the one judge saying they can't kind of overrule another. Now, generally that is true. Judges are very reluctant if most of your case is going before, say, Kenny. Imagine Kenny was a judge. I know, hard for us to all imagine that, but if he was, and then you have a little piece of it, oddly enough, gets put on, say, my docket, you come to me. Well, in those kind of situations, I would say, you know what, you're with Kenny, stick with Kenny. So that part I get. So that's something your lawyer, you need to talk about and find out what the situation is. So I know it is frustrating, but it sounds like you obviously need to go back to the first judge as soon as possible so you can kind of put forth your case and try to get some relief. And it is frustrating, I tell you.
Matthew, the biggest thing I heard is he did say he was represented by an attorney.
I did, yeah.
He needs to convey that frustration to his attorney, which I'm sure he has.
I'm sure he has, he did. Because for a long time when he was talking, George was saying, I thought maybe he was unrepresented the way he was kind of describing it.
Right.
And then he did talk about an attorney there. And honestly, and I get that, and it's true, you'd be hard pressed to go to have a contested matter for child custody or anything in the family law arena and do it. And if it's contested, meaning the other side is not agreeing, you'd be hard pressed doing that yourself without having an attorney. It'd be like trying to perform surgery on yourself. A difficult task at best, I promise you. So I'm glad George has got a lawyer, and I know it is frustrating, but
stay with
it's just got to stay with the course.
Okay.
Yeah, we sure do.
All right, George, hope that helps out a little bit. I know it's probably not what you were hoping to hear.
Yeah, let me just also say, let me just also jump
Since
in
George
here.
is still on the line.
Since George is on the line, not that anyone cares. Go ahead. I'm going to say, I know you do.
Care.
Yeah, I know you do. They talk. So much can you hear about tort reform, and quite frankly, we've heard that enough. I'm a proponent. I think divorce and child custody need some reform. I mean, I know cases. Sometimes you hear divorce cases that go on 4, 5, 6 years.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, that's hard for me to understand. And so I think perhaps folks that do a lot of that work should come together with the legislatures and really kind of look at that process and figure out some ways to kind of speed those things along, because a delay in justice is no justice. This is families lives essentially are put on hold during this process.
Look, if we did we could do a family law show every Saturday
forever
for the whole season, and we would child custody and alimony and child support and all that sort of stuff. So
true.
Anyway, George, best of luck going forward with it. Give us a call back. We're here. We're here till August for you every Saturday night.
We sure are.
Just give us a call. We're available.